Self-esteem can be seen as a collection of different attributes that we ascribe to ourselves in context of our image, our self-worth and respect and acceptance and also confidence. Hi, my name is Patricia. I'm counseling psychologist registered with HCPC here in the UK. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about self-esteem, giving you the opportunity to reflect on different opinions and values that you place on yourself and how these then reflect how you feel emotionally and, how they affect your thoughts and how they affect as well your day-to-day behaviors. At the core of the self-esteem, there are beliefs that you hold about yourself, and we actually call them in psychology core beliefs. And they're like reflections of your identity. And those beliefs normally we develop very early on in our childhood, and they're going to be impacted by the environment that we grew up, by the things that people maybe they say to us. So for instance, if you grew up in quite a negative environment, maybe toxic environment, that will definitely then have impact on your self-esteem. So maybe now for a moment, think of a person that you believe has a low self-esteem. And think about the different aspects of their life, their behavior, the things that they speak that made you think that they actually have low self-esteem. And maybe now you can grab a pen and paper and you can start writing down what are the things that maybe they say about themselves. Is it that maybe they self-blame a lot? Is it that maybe they criticize themselves a lot? Or maybe they just make constantly some very silly jokes about themselves. Maybe when they talk about themselves, they really focuses on their weaknesses. And they maybe feel really uncomfortable when someone mentions any good attributes of them. And now we can also think about the behavior. Is it something about them struggling to be assertive? Is it something about maybe their voice, how maybe quietly they speak? Maybe they're apologizing a lot. Maybe they're avoiding any challenges. They might be hesitating a lot. They might be very withdrawn in group settings, avoiding speaking. And in addition to that, they might be avoiding any eye contact. In terms of the emotions, possibly they might be feeling anxious, sad, frustrated, really nervous. And in terms of the body sensations, they actually might be low on energy and might feeling quite tense. I hope that now you can see more clearly that low self-esteem can actually have a significant impact on your emotions, on your thoughts, on your behaviors, and also how you feel in your body. So now let's have a look at some examples. People who suffer from low self-esteem, they can actually fall into these two categories. So on one hand, they might be very rigid and might be avoiding any challenges. Where on the other hand, we can also have people who might be preoccupied with being a perfectionist in any aspect of their life. And even when they succeed, even when they're gonna do really well, it's gonna be so uncomfortable. It's gonna be so difficult for them to admit that whatever they achieved, it is because of their own hard work, for example. In the relationships, for example, people with low self-esteem, they might be so terrified of any criticism, any judgment and rejection that they might fall into this very unhealthy way of relating to people where they constantly want to please everyone. Even during leisure activities, people with low self-esteem, they're going to be very conscious to choose those activities where their weaknesses, they're not going to be exposed. And then when it comes to self-care, again, we can have these two extremes where people, they might be really struggling with self-care, they might be neglecting themselves. And then on the other hand, we can have people who can be preoccupied with their appearance and they might be going that extra mile to make sure that they look good. So they're gonna avoid any judgment from others. And very often actually self-esteem, it is not a problem itself. So the low self-esteem, it might be actually coming with some other issues. So for example, people who suffer from depression, very often they might be struggling because of that with low self-esteem. So in a case when maybe you're gonna go for the therapy and you're gonna start working on your depression, that itself will then help you to increase your low self-esteem. Also, the long-standing mental health issues such as anxiety or stress, maybe long-standing issues in your relationships, they will also have a negative impact on your self-esteem. So perhaps in a case where maybe you're struggling with anxiety for many years, and then if you go to therapy, if you work on anxiety, again, that will really help you then with lifting your self-esteem. And it might be as well that as a child you grew up in maybe quite toxic or unhealthy environment, and that in turn really impacted your self-esteem, and now maybe as an adult you've developed low self-esteem. So that actually now could make you more vulnerable to develop anxiety or depression. So that will be it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if this is the first time you're visiting my channel, then please subscribe and make sure you're gonna hit the notification bell, so every time when I upload a new video or reel, you're gonna be notified, so you're gonna miss out on any of this really interesting content. And yes, I'm gonna see you in the next one then. Thank you. Bye bye.